Around Town, I think episode 19, Fitton Center for Creative Arts. I'm here with MacKenzie-Thurley. Thanks, Ian, for taking the time to talk to me. I'm already learning stuff. He's already said so much good stuff before the camera's rolling. Hopefully we can get some of it going. But before I came over, I was looking up on my computer when this place was built, and because I wasn't sure. I knew that it wasn't here when I was a little kid, but when I was trying to think about it, I couldn't remember what it was before. So I knew, and I looked it up. I was about 9 years old. So what was it before? You're telling me before. It's interesting, so people can learn some stuff.
So this was the City of Hamilton tax office. It was so we said nothing good comes out of tax. We'd like to think so. I have one of the original bricks from the building that still sits in my office. It was gifted to me when I took the job. So this is a bicentennial legacy project from the people of Hamilton. So they were celebrating the bicentennial of Hamilton, and they wanted to give something back to the community that would last longer than just having a party or a festival or parade and wake up in the morning with something to clean up and a hangover. And they were going to build a sports stadium or an art center. Well, spoiler alert, they built an art center, got an incredible sports center years later, but it was a community effort. The community leadership came together and raised the funds, worked with the City of Hamilton, of course the Hamilton Community Foundation. The foundation to this day owns the building. The city gifted the property, and then the money was raised throughout the city to bring the Fitton Center for Creative Arts alive.
And we're now 30 years plus now, right?
We are. So the original building was opened in '93. In 2000, there was an expansion that you see with the ballroom and the boardroom and the executive suites out there, an expansion of our education facilities on the first floor. And then in 2015, there was another capital project to expand the theater and make some renovations throughout the building, put the fantastic LED signs outside, things like that. And then I arrived not long after that.
All right. So, Hamilton's not a tiny town, but we're not a big city. We're 65,000 roughly people, mid-sized town, I'd say, for Ohio.
Yeah.
How rare is it for a town of our size to have a facility of this nature and this big, this, kind of elaborate building and all the works here, like high class? How rare is that?
I think we're extremely fortunate here, though there are some incredible mid-sized art centers and community art centers throughout Ohio. The support of the arts in Ohio is fantastic from right here to the lake. It's incredible. So to have the Fitton Center is not in itself unique, it's how much we have with it and around it. So we've got the Fitton Center, obviously I'm biased, I love it, but we've got incredible community partners and art partners that keep on stacking up. Just down the road, we've got Pyramid Hill, a nearly 400-acre sculpture park with international sculptures there, open every single day. We have River's Edge across the way here, 3,000-seat amphitheater, bringing in national and touring and international acts, many of it free for the population of Hamilton and Butler County. We have City of Sculpture, again, a group of community volunteers raising money to put sculpture all the way through Hamilton, and there's so many of those. It's amazing. And then we look at things like what we've done with the Strauss Gallery and the Art Space Loft, so work and living space for artists to live and work and show their wares, sell their wares in Hamilton. And then just up the road for that, you have Inside Out Studios, and I could keep on going on and going on. We're a city of 65,000 people. To have one of these things in a community would be fantastic for any community. But to have so many of these at such a high level and so much support from the community is really something special for Hamilton, and something I said is we've seen this resilience, this renaissance in Hamilton has really been part of that backbone.
So having all that, it's almost like a mini miracle, except for it's not a miracle. People chose this. Years ago, people decided in our community that they wanted to fund the arts, and here we are, and people still support it.
We had 17 strong here speaking at our Celebrating Self-Speaker series and talking about how that's come about. One of the things I said in my introduction remarks were, what's that secret to what's going on in Hamilton? It's community. We do get fantastic support from city leadership, from foundation leadership, but that's people, the community, anybody off the street, involved, down the road, your next door neighbor wants to start something, wants to create something. We've seen things like Hamilton Flea and Operation Pumpkin. Again, I could go on and on about these community initiatives that get support not only from the community, but from leadership to foster and grow. The Fitton Center is exactly one of those. And there's so many more because the community wants to do things, the people of Hamilton, and they get support. and they get support to create and then to grow and develop these projects all over the city in various different ways, not just the arts, but the arts has been a great focus and a great feature for many years, and we appreciate it.
And obviously, so Hamilton, we're punching above our weight in the arts, I think, by a few weight classes, sounds like. What is the art scene in Hamilton done for the greater city outside of the arts? How do you think they interplay and support overall, the function of a city?
To have a functioning city, a place where you want to live, hang out, go to work, spend time after work, place for your kids to go to school, and you want all of those things. So, having fantastic roads that are clean and clear and ready to go, well, that's a good thing, but where do they take you? You need somewhere to go at the end of that road. You need a job that pays well, that can take care of you and your family. You'd like a nice house to live in, that's safe and secure, and a good neighborhood and great schools to send your kids to. You'd like a place to go on a Friday night for a dinner with the family. All of those things come together in a place of a community where you want to be, where you want to live, where you want to raise your children, and hopefully if they go away to college, they might come back to. And that's what Hamilton's been fostering over many years. And the arts are just one piece of that pie, that you want places that you can have entertainment, you can have engagement, you can have creativity and learning. You see with our Street Spark mural program that we're getting back out into the community and driving that energy. It's called Street Spark for a reason. It's driving that spark of energy in the arts through not just downtown Hamilton, but throughout all of Hamilton now, which is exciting. And I think that makes up, as I say, an entire community where people can be involved at different levels. Some people don't want to be in art galleries. Some people want to be outside doing things. So you got to give people different options. But when they choose the arts, you want it to be of the highest quality we can. We talked a bit about, we're not Chicago. We're not New York. We're not even Cincinnati. We're a city of 65,000 people. We can't do the big shows. We can't do the big events, but we can do quality. Quality of the artistic intent, the quality of the delivery. I will take these galleries and our programming with any other organization of our size and larger throughout the state of Ohio because of the quality that comes with it. And you see that throughout all of Hamilton. It's not just the Fitton Center. You're seeing those with these incredible facilities, our parks that are coming together and coming alive, that our infrastructure is coming and developing of a quality that is of anywhere else in Ohio and in fact the United States. It's just our size that may be lacking sometimes, but that's okay because that allows us to know our neighbors quite literally here. That
right
we get to know.
street.
And again, that goes back to straight into the community. If you know your neighbor, now you're having a conversation about how does my front lawn look and how does that affect you? I can grab your trash can for you. I can help you out with these things. That builds and fosters an incredible community. And we're really excited that the Fitton Center is just one part of that, and we hope an important part, but just one part of what's going on here in Hamilton.
Certainly, and we might not get the big shows, like you said, we're not London or New York or something, but and we can't get Hamilton, maybe the Broadway, but you did drag some of the people here, and we can make news internationally, at least, in a good way. So tell us a little bit about how that happened.
So a few years ago, when Hamilton, the musical, was first coming to Cincinnati, as you said, obviously we have a 240-seat theater downstairs. We're not getting Broadway-sized musicals. We just don't have the size and infrastructure for that, and that's okay. We were able to present quality performing arts here that we're really excited by. But those big shows need to go to the big cities and the big theaters. But we do have the largest statue of Alexander Hamilton in these United States. It's called American Cape. So for a few years, I'd been conversing with the team down at the Aronoff saying, maybe we could do a photo promo here when the show came to town. And it took a while to put together conversations and timing. And the final conversation happened 2 or 3 days beforehand saying, yes, we can bring you up an Alexander Hamilton and a George Washington, so the two big stars of the show. We will bring to do a press and photo with the American Cape. So I called the city manager and he's like, we're in, what do you need? Again, this small but mighty city going, what do you need? Fire, police, city management, all there within a day saying, how can we make this happen? And they did. The police were not towing cars, but going, that car can't be in the photo. Let me go see Jerry. He's up 2 blocks. I'll go knock on his door and have him move the car, because they knew the photo needed to look great for Hamilton, not, we're gonna move cars for a photo. What are they doing here? Everybody understood the value of showing Hamilton to its best. Then we bring in these fantastic performers who have performed internationally, based out of New York, coming to Hamilton, and they're seeing this incredible sculpture that began. City of Sculpture put that in there 15 years beforehand. Before Hamilton, the musical, existed, they created this incredible image of American Cape with the hand in the air and the cape going by, and had that foresight and that vision. And as we were standing there, I said to the cast, well, you know about the Fearless Girl there in New York City with her hands on the hips and the little ponytail staring down the bull with the stock exchange in New York. And they said, well, yes. I said, that's Kristen Visbal. That's an incredible piece. I said, it's the same artist. This is an original Kristen Visbal.
And I didn't know that.
And they said, well, how did you get her? And I said, because 15 years ago, she wasn't the most famous sculpture artist on planet Earth as she was at that time. That vision, the money was raised, the foresight was had, the energy was given by the community to build or to create American Cape and to put that right in the center of town. 15 years later, we're having a photo opportunity, and those photos go not only locally, nationally. We end up on the Hamilton app. So if you wanted to buy tickets to Hamilton the musical in London or in Sydney or in New York, you saw Hamilton, Ohio.
That's pretty good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Again, all roads lead back to one thing, and that's community.
Yeah.
It really is. That's the special thing in this town, of the community wanting to get things done. Doesn't mean they don't get help from each other, from city leadership, but to draw that, to have that inspiration, not saying who's going to, when they're going to, how they're going to. It's like, I can do this, and I'm going to ask Josh, would you like to help me? And then it happens, and we've seen that time and time again. And again, the walls that we sit in right now, built by community.
And you didn't grow up in Hamilton. You grew up in Australia, right?
This is my Indiana accent. Yes.
So when you were in Australia as a kid, you probably never heard of Hamilton for sure, I'm guessing. When's the first time you even heard of this town?
Heard of Hamilton? Well, I had heard of Cincinnati. We got a lot of American television growing up. One of those was WKRP in Cincinnati. Dr. Johnny Fever and the whole crew and the turkey drop.
Yeah.
That was about as close as I had to sort of Ohio and the Midwest. Hamilton wasn't on my radar, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Happens for a few people. But I met a girl from Hamilton, Ohio, but I met her in the Czech Republic.
Right.
So neutral territory.
There you
go. She was finishing up her studies there at CCM in Cincinnati and was living in Clifton, but family's all from here and grew up here. My mother-in-law went to Talawanda, my father-in-law went to Ross, and my wife and her family all went here to Hamilton High, as does my daughter now. So I heard all about this place, but it wasn't on the map for me. But I was supposed to be traveling Europe and living in England. And I somehow ended up in Cincinnati and then coming to Hamilton. And my first visit here was 2000. So
okay. And you've been heading up the Fitton Center how long now?
This is coming into my 10th year. So 9 years ago, I started here 2015, May of 2015, and coming into my 10th year, and I'll be looking at 2025, 26 as a 10th anniversary season for us.
Nice, congrats on that. And I know you got something kind of big different this year. You're planning for that, so maybe give a shout out what you got going on.
Absolutely. So every year, we do season launch, our season launch event to launch what's going on for the upcoming season, able to buy tickets, able to find out what's going on, but we throw a big open house party. So we open all the doors to the place. We have our galleries going, we have our theaters going, we have the foyers going with entertainment, engagement and conversation, and bring a friend. Of course, we have live music and the bar is available, something to eat. Traditionally, that's been on a Friday night in the late afternoon, early evening into the mid-evening. With so much else going on in Hamilton, which is a really positive thing, with school starting earlier and football games starting earlier, we thought, well, let's change to a Saturday. Let's just change it up because life changes, the city changes. These are all positive things. So it's easier for our audience, easier for the community, and easier for our staff. So we thought, well, if we're changing the date, why not change the time? And if we're changing the time, let's change the experience. Because again, it's been nearly 10 years of season launches here. So what can we do that's a little different? Usually we're out on the terrace here. We have the band, we have the bar. It's been fantastic. But last year we opened up Pergola out here on Monument Avenue, obviously. Very aware of Monument. We had an interactive art experience there, and people were arriving through that area and coming up the stairs and coming through the side doors. And a lot of people, not ones and twos, 10s and 20s or 50s of people coming through them. We thought, well, That seems to be an experience people like. So we thought, instead of being facing the river, and we do love our river frontage, why don't we face the city and open things up? And with that, we thought, well, we need a bit more space. Let's close down Monument Avenue. Sorry about your parking. That we could invite the community. So what we're having on Saturday, August 17th from 3 p.m. is a community block party for our season launch. And we'll be inviting our community partners and friends to come here and talk about what they do. We're gonna have a little stall or a table or an interactive activity. It's not like Flea or Hammerpalooza or anything like that, or Operation Pumpkin, where they sell their wares. It's more interactive, talking to people about what they do. So these are our friends from Pyramid Hill and from Inside Out Studios, from the Boys and Girls Club, from Booker T. Washington Community Center, from the Community Foundation, and of course our friends here on Monument Avenue, to talk about what they do and have a community experience. We'll be having singers from the show choir from Hamilton High and the band from Ross High School, and our friends from Performing Arts Inc. performing on stage. Miami Valley Ballet Theatre will be dancing, as will our friends from the Hamilton Civic Theatre performing, which we're really excited about. Lots of opportunities, again, for that community involvement. We'll have a live DJ playing in between. There'll be food, there'll be drink, but an opportunity just for the community to come and hang out at the Fitton Center. See a friend, see a relative, bring somebody new who's never been here before. Having some fun in the street, have a taco, have a door drink, come in, see some art, explore the Fitton Center, maybe get yourself a membership or tickets early for the season. But just to say to our friends, our neighbors, the community, we're open. This is your space. We're not a public building. We're not owned by the city or the state or the county. We're an independent nonprofit. But this is a community building. It was built by the community for the community. So that's why we wanted to open up to everyone. Have some fun on a Saturday afternoon. A little earlier in the day, starting at 3, going through to the early evening. So it's great for families that you can come out, bring the little ones in. If they've got sport in the morning, well, they can still wear their soccer cleats and run around and do all those things. That's fine. Come as you are, enjoy some time here at the Fitton Center.
Just open to a little bit different crowd, maybe get some people with kids that might not come to the dinner and the band thing that
Correct.
you guys had.
Just a little different vibe, and again, that community vibe, and the opportunity, as I said, to meet other people, other organizations who are heavily involved with the Fitton Center day to day, week to week, and their involvement, and find a little bit more about that they could find out that what these community organizations are doing, what other arts organizations are doing, both with the Fitton Center and by themselves as well, because it's about fostering all of that. We're all there together. A strong arts community is good for the Fitton Center, not just a strong Fitton Center. A strong community development is good for the Fitton Center. A strong business development is good for the Fitton Center. If business is doing well, we're all doing well. So we want to encourage that and foster that here at the Fitton Center. And again, have some fun on a Saturday afternoon.
People support each other, different art ventures. They're not all competing, and they kind of help each other more.
You hear it a lot. The rising tide raises all boats, but it's absolutely true. And we've seen that in Hamilton particularly over the last 10 to 15 years. People working together, we all go up together, and then there's new people going, what's going on in Hamilton? I want a piece of that. As you say, I'm not from here. There's a bunch of people not from here, but are truly committed to what's going on in Hamilton. I've been lucky enough, I think this is country number 4 for me. I've seen a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures. Doesn't mean other people aren't doing fantastic things. It doesn't mean neighboring communities don't have fantastic people. It's not a slight on anyone, but Hamilton's it's different, it's special. It really is. This community here is very, very special. The way they work together, the way they support each other. The original founders here at the Fitton Center, not all of them were interested in the arts. But they knew that Hamilton needed an arts center, that they knew they needed to bring that together. That was good for the community, not just good for them or what they liked. And that says a lot about this town. And you'll see people supporting things that maybe are not of their particular interest or particular passion. They know it's good for Hamilton. And we've seen that over many years. And I feel that that's one of the big secrets to the success of this town. And I go back to it, it's that community, and that builds. If you've got that as a foundation, you can do anything, and we are.
Yeah, people here show up for each other. They definitely show up for each other in support of almost everything.
It's been amazing. That and volunteerism here. Volunteering is not a currency per se, but it's of worth. It's valued. And you see everybody, you see the mayor, you see the city manager, you see captains of industry, you see people, your next door neighbors turning up for things, to support things, just even for cleanup days in their neighborhoods. Just as simple as that, as just walking your streets, picking up some trash, looking after a neighbor. You see with 17 Strongs, with Love Your Block, that people are turning up to mow lawns and to scrape down houses and paint for people who are challenged right now and need some help. So the community's right there and they're all doing it together. It's not for them, and it might be three subdivisions over. So they're not looking at the house, but they know that helping out that lady who's struggling right now, might need a little bit of help, is going to be good for their whole community. And you see it over and over. And
across the whole town. It really is.
It's as I said, it's special. Not that doesn't happen a lot of other places, but I've never quite seen it like here at Hamilton, and the energy of getting things done, and then the support that comes with it.
Yeah, it's no bash on anyone else, but I think it's okay to realize when people are doing something good where we're at, and I think we do.
I think we do. I know you see the success, and you see it all the time, and Hamilton has just gone from strength to strength to strength. And there's some really smart and energetic people who've helped craft that throughout the city leadership, throughout the support that we're getting at different government levels, but it permeating all the way down. You see, we talked about 17 Strong and people get engaged at a neighborhood level. If you can help your neighbor, just one person, that's a positive thing for the entire community. And then what have you got next? What's the next idea? What's the next challenge? But it's not in the wilderness. There's not an echo, resounding. There's people around you going, I'll help. What do you need?
Yeah, more and more people are getting on with the momentum. We got a lot of momentum, and I think more and more people, even some that didn't buy in earlier, are starting to, because it's hard to deny at this point.
Just seeing, with the development of Spooky Nook, of what, could have been just a sore on this community of a beautiful old building, but just falling apart before our eyes. Looks spectacular. The windows are fresh and clean, and the brickwork is done, and the streets are paved, and it looks amazing. And what's the next thing that's going to come and happen after that? We have beautiful infrastructure here. The old Cohen property, which is about to redevelop with those beautiful glass and steel, looks incredible, but it's hard to maintain. It's hard to keep up over quite literally hundreds of years. But we're seeing those as jewels now and reinvesting in them, that we've seen, and things like, obviously I'm biased, but German Village and Dayton Lane and Rossville, these beautiful old homes. And as we know, they're hard to maintain and they never stop.
Yeah. I know all too well about that.
But they don't build them like that anymore.
Yeah, they're solid.
They're solid, but they're, and they're historic, but they're gorgeous, and they build to a character of a city that's irreplaceable, both physically, financially, and structurally. You just don't build houses like that anymore. And a beautiful new tree is fabulous, but a 100-year-old tree is incredible.
Yeah. And
to have our streets lined with those, it makes for a very special place. We've got a unique downtown that is a true Main Street USA or High Street USA. But we don't have, we have incredible shops and businesses that are unique to Hamilton. Not that the chain stores and the bigger things aren't great to have, but this is America. There's always going to be one of those somewhere. But to have the mom and pop family businesses, homegrown to support local, that bring you unique gifts or unique purchasable items, makes it a destination for people to come to Hamilton. That's just something different that they can't get at home, or they can't get down the street just for shopping. That's special, and that you see that fostered. The work that's going on Main Street. I mean, every week I drive down Main Street and it's different. There's been another block. It just keeps on going and being redeveloped and reshaped. There's a new fresh coat of paint. There's a new business.
You lose track.
I arrived here in 2013, so it's just over 10 years ago. I mean, I think on High Street, at Main Street, there was Sherry's Puppies. I think Tom's Cigar Store was still there. A few other little bits and pieces, obviously, things like Richards and stuff have been stalwarts, but Main Street wasn't looking great. Well, now you can do a pub crawl. You can do something to get. You can have your appetizers, mains, dessert, at a nightcap. all the way up the street.
And there's more things coming, and so it's kind of looking toward the future. I think we got a lot to look forward to.
I think
and a lot to enjoy now, but I think it's going to even get better.
I think we just started. I think the last 10 years have been, this groundswell.
Foundation.
Correct, and we need to celebrate that, but we've got to not stop. And that my challenge would to be the community, and that includes me and my family as well. What can we do to help? Not just sort of sit back going, okay, well, everything's great now, because everything has peaks and valleys. Every city has had that. Hamilton has certainly had some peaks in its time. I mean, with Moseley's safe was here, and we're building the safe that held the Constitution of the United States with a contraption that went into the floor and came back out and displayed every day. That's insane.
Yeah, that's where my grandpa worked. That's why I'm even here, probably, maybe.
It's amazing. It came from Hamilton. I've been all over the country, and you look on the side of the safe, you see Hamilton, you see Moseley on there. I was at a bar in Pittsburgh, and there was an old safe as part of the bar, and sure enough, it was made here at Hamilton.
So cool looking too.
Amazing. So the tool works here was the largest tool works on planet Earth for its time. It's the incredible rich history of this place, and things were big and bright. We had 2 paper mills working full steam ahead. Well, that's changed. Life has changed, the economy has changed, but that's changed everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not Hamilton, that's everywhere, but it's how you navigate the change.
And I think we found like a new, second act or a third act to twist it around to something you might understand a little better.
Absolutely.
Like turn around the arts than some of the other towns that have lost their factory jobs. We've found ourselves, or released in the midst of it, and I think we're doing good. I mean, I wouldn't imagine, when I was 20 years old, Hamilton would be like it is now that I'm 40.
I can't even imagine. I was born in Sydney, Australia, which is a pretty magnificent city at the best of times. I grew up in a place called Brisbane, which was where MacArthur spent his time from the Second World War, when he had decamped from the Philippines and then returned from Brisbane to the Philippines. But they were pretty substantial cities. But the city I grew up in, Brisbane, which is a lot like Cincinnati, has had a huge amount of growth. Obviously, Sydney's an Olympic city, and a harbour city is always pretty magical. But what I've seen in Hamilton and this time is been astounding, because it wasn't a city that grabbed me all the way. I didn't think, went back in 2000, this is the place I want to live.
Yeah.
This is the place I want to raise my family. But I came back here in 2013. We came back for a couple of weeks vacation, some chill out time, and there was something going on. And I didn't know the mayor or the city manager. I didn't know anybody working at the city at all. I didn't have a book and telling me about Plan Hamilton and Vision 2020. There was none of that. Nobody told me anything or instructed me or said I should look at things. I'm just walking around town, and you could feel it and you could see it. And I couldn't tell you what it was. I certainly didn't think there was a plan and anybody had been thinking about it. Of course there was a plan, and lots of people had been thinking about it. But you could see it. It was something in the air. There was something in the streets. And I turned to my wife and I said, there's something going on here, and I don't know what it is. I was asked to volunteer with Operation Pumpkin, and I soon found out what it was. It was the community starting to rebuild and get energized and get things on the streets and get things happen. And then I found out about what was going on with city government, that they had a plan, they had a structure, they were definitely trying to rebuild, retool, and had ideas for the future. And then to be a part of what's been going on there and being here at the Fitton Center, I feel really privileged, because I've never seen it before. I've never been a part of this. I've been privileged enough to work at the Sydney Opera House, but that was part of a bigger machine and things and other people's growth, which was fantastic. But to be a part of what's been going on in Hamilton, just to be a small part of that, to be a part of giving to the community, I think it's been something new for most of us.
Yeah, I mean, you can play a little bit bigger part in a smaller town, and that's why I like it. I mean, I've always lived here, but that's why I'm still here. This has been great. I mean, kind of a Hamilton love fest, but I mean, I love it. You're cheerleading for Hamilton. I like it. And I usually ask everybody softball questions, and I've been softball questioning you this whole time, but I got one hard one I haven't saved, and I usually don't. So you're a kid from Sydney, Australia. You heard about Cincinnati on TV show, WKRP. You meet a lady in Hamilton, but she's in the Czech Republic at the time. You end up moving here, and you love all these things you love about this town in this area, but you root for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
How is that happening?
Oh, so here's the short and long version. I just came back from spring training. So as everyone knows, I'm a huge Reds fan. Got Marty Brenneman here, so
that's good.
I put on a Reds cap. I was sitting on third base out at a riverfront. So I got to go, I'm not, didn't quite get to Crosley, but I'm riverfront boy. Been a Reds fan since I put on that wishbone C the first time. As I said, I just got to my first ever spring training, which was incredible. But I got to say, and they're going to hate me for it, the Bengals just never hit me here. Right. I went to games and I went to tailgates and I went to things, and the Bengals as a team, as an organization, sorry guys, just weren't there for me. So I took a step back. I wasn't against the Bengals, it just wasn't a thing. And so a few years ago, Sundays I'm sitting around and everybody's got something. There's lots of Browns fans here and there's lots of Steelers fans, and but I'm like, I need to do something on Sunday. I need a team to root for. So my wife said, go out and find yourself a team. I get that. So she grew up a Bengals fan, particularly with her mom. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I gotta pick a team. So I got out the map and I'm like, where do you start? So I thought, oh, well, you can't be the Cowboys because, I'm not a big bandwagon. You can't be the Patriots, with Brady at the time because, you got to find something. So I started looking around. So, I started looking local. So there was, Chicago or maybe the Lions or I'm like, certainly not going to be the Browns. Sorry, Brownies fans, but you're either born a Browns fan and you're there, but you're either born a Browns fan or you're not. Being a Steelers fan, I'm not picking that because I'm not taking that grief just for picking a football team around here. That's just asking
You're not
for
into it that much.
I'm like asking for trouble. So I thought, here's the thing. Got to find a place that I've been before. So, which could take me down to, that took me down to New Orleans, that took me to Miami, that took me to San Francisco, to Detroit, to Buffalo, to New York. There was a lot of places. So it came down to Buffalo and San Francisco. And I had been to the Kezar Stadium, the Kezar pub, the place they used to play the original San Francisco 49ers games with the leather hats and stuff. They played at the Kezar before they got the big stadiums, and there's a bar next to it. And I'd seen Australia play a World Cup rugby game there 20 odd years ago. So I had a connection. And my wife turns to me, she goes, this is the deal. Happy for you to find your own team and your own love. It can't be the 49ers, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, they beat us in the Super Bowl.
He goes, there is a veto. So I went, hello, Buffalo. Yeah. And that's how I picked Buffalo. Josh Allen had been drafted the year before and played a couple of games, but he wasn't Josh Allen. He wasn't going on the front cover of Madden that year. Bills were sort of right in the middle. They weren't here, they weren't there. I didn't know about Jim Kelly at the time. I didn't know about 1991, 92. Yeah, there's a couple of years in there.
There's a documentary on Netflix right now about it, I think.
Four Falls of Cincinnati, Four Falls of Buffalo, yes. So I didn't know about a certain running back actor who had a life after the Buffalo Bills that was interesting. But I knew I loved Buffalo and the place there, and so I picked the Bills, and I gotta tell you, it's one of the best decisions of my life.
Right. Sticking with it.
Except for 13 seconds, except for wide right. There's some pain that goes with it. But if you've ever been to a Buffalo Bills tailgate, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a reason that Woodstock happened in upstate New York, because the state of New York, and Buffalo's a Midwest town. Just so if anybody's wondering, if you move Buffalo to Cincinnati, they'd be like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. If you move Buffalo to Pittsburgh, they'd fit in well. Buffalo is not New York City, it's in New York State. They're a working class town. They are gracious, they are fun. But if you want to say hello in September, you say go Bills. If you want to say hello in May, you say go Bills. All right. They love their football. They love their team. They love their city. They love to party. So a tailgate,
it's a fun time.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. The first time I went, they said, I had some friends there, and I bought some Municipal Brew Works beer with me to take up and carry on the thing. They said, would you like a beer? So I bought some here. They said, oh, we just had these flown in from California. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And then the guy goes to me, would you like some pizza? I said, yeah, I'll take some pie, thinking he's gonna open a little Caesar's box that he grabbed on the way. There was a pizza oven in the truck behind him and flour and water on the folding table in front of him. And there's rules for the table. You're gonna make the pizza first before you jump through them, and made pizza by hand in front of me. And the guy next to him's got a 32-inch griddle who's pressing down burgers and has, wrapped stuffed peppers wrapped in bacon that he'd hand smoked himself. I'm like, who are you people? This is a tailgate. And then they're throwing the cans on the ground. I'm like, what are you doing throwing the cans on the ground? So people come and collect them and take them for cash. So we stomp them and put them in piles so it's easier for them to collect. And as you've seen with the Bills Mafia over the last couple of years, the way they donate, the way they support, the way they get behind other things. And that all started with Cincinnati and Andy Dalton when Dalton, when they made that score to break the curse and get the Bills back into the postseason. That's really where that whole started with the Bills Mafia they supported Dalton's foundation. So that comes full circle. So that's the short, very long and short version of why am I a Bills fan, but it's fun. So, but I'm still waiting.
Put a lot of work into picking that team. I thought it was going to be an easier answer than that. It's a long story.
But I didn't know what I was getting into, but I feel embraced. I went up for the game, that postseason game with the Bills and the Bengals. I didn't pay for a drink all weekend because they're like, where are you from? I said, I flew in from Cincinnati this morning for the game. They're like, here's some drinks.
Yeah, nice.
So I got well looked after there, but it was great being there with the Bengals fans. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, well, I live in Hamilton. And they're like, oh, in Canada. I'm like,
yeah, it's close.
No. And they're like, and we're going down to the games here at Paycor Stadium. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, Hamilton. And they're like, in Canada? I'm like, oh no, just up the road. And they're like, how are you a Bills fan? So I tell that story.
So I learned a lot.
But now it's baseball season, so I
might go up to eat some food with you at a Bills game. I'm going to root for the Bengals always, though. But at least you like the Reds. I can agree with you on that. I've seen you at Reds games before, so I know you are a fan.
You got to root for your team. I got no problem with that at all. And that's what it is. It's always two teams turning up. The banter's always fun.
Yeah,
you pick your tie, but
rooting for our team, and we're both rooting for Hamilton, the town. I mean, it seems like we got a winner in that.
You and I and so many other people before us and coming up and the next generation. I had my daughter on the phone this morning. She was at school and they were talking about 17 strong microgrants and how they could build and do. She's looking at new lighting for German Village so it's safer for them in the mornings and evenings when they're catching the buses. Ty Smallwood was talking yesterday about a bunch of kids he had when he was back at Highland putting in crossings on the road so it was easy for the kids to cross there and safer. I mean, real tangible things. This is happening by our kids right now. And that's amazing because they're next. It can't just be the ones that came before us. It can't just be us. If it's not the next one, we go into that dip again. So seeing that energy come through is really exciting.
It's good stuff. So we've got a bright future sounds like. I believe it.
I feel it. I feel it and I'm seeing it. But that's being fostered and encouraged, not just...
Wasn't an accident.
Wasn't an accident. So many plans going on. It's exciting to be a part of this.
Yeah,
it really is, yeah.
Just right across the street. So I'm ready for the block party. I'll get my car moved quick so I'm not stuck, so let me know if I'm stuck. Ian, thanks for meeting with me, giving us your time, and we look forward to seeing what you guys got going on.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time.
Did it.
Woo!
Yeah, man.